Okay, why don't we start? I'm sure he'll be joining us. Okay, welcome everyone to the Committee on Public Services. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Varga.
Here.
Commissioner Palomera.
Here.
Commissioner Kenlock.
Present.
Commissioner Hattis.
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun. Commissioner Dobb.
Here.
Chair Marecki.
Here, and please give Commissioner Baydoun a temporary excuse.
Will do. You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none, except that I know all of you know about the addenda at the end of the meeting, which we will be talking about a possible resolution that can go to full board next time we meet. Next item.
C, approval of the March 8th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Move approval.
Okay. We have an approval by Varga, supported by, I believe, Commissioner Hattis. Any comments, any questions? All those in favor of approving last meeting's minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays, any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Next item.
D, finished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1, under new business. Communication from the Department of Public Services forwarding the February 2022 report of all complaint calls made to 1-888 road crew.
Okay, this was in February. Any questions on this? I'm sure you all get to see your areas and what went on there in February.
Madam Chair, do you want to take all items and then do
Yes, I do. Thank you, Commissioner Dobb. We will go through each item, and at the end, we will ask for direction to move to full board or whatever your pleasure is. Thank you. So anything on this road crew?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Just
Oh,
joined. I'm sorry, a few minutes late.
No problem. Welcome, Commissioner Baydoun.
Thank
Please
you.
let the record show that Commissioner Baydoun has joined us. Okay, next item, number 2.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a 3-year sole source contract with Care Pump and Supply.
Okay, this is for parts and repair services for the pumps. Is there someone here on this that can just update us on what's going on with the pumping stations? We had a nice background again in our fiscal analysis, but maybe someone can touch base from the administration.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Steve.
Good morning. Hi, Steve.
Good morning. An update on those pump station. Originally, the first 3 pump stations design has been completed for pump station 716, 111, and 182. And currently, right now, documentations are being prepared for to go out for bid for construction, which we are almost done with that as well. So that's the status of those 3 pump stations. Meanwhile, we have another 11 that's in the works that are in the design phase as well.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Sure, go ahead. Are you through, Steve?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Baydoun.
So, Steve, my understanding is the pump station on Greenfield in Dearborn near Michigan Avenue. I mean, on Greenfield near Michigan Avenue was one of the pumps on the list to be done this year.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so we're expecting hopefully a start of late summer maybe, or late spring, or?
Open. We're moving everything, every piece of document that we need to get out to the vendor. Our engineering firm right now has already, like I said earlier, have completed the design phase, and now they're almost complete with their construction paperwork, so we can go out for bid hopefully real soon.
Okay, great. And again, these new pumps, we talked about this before, they're going to have built-in generators, correct?
That was one of the things that we were exploring, Commissioner Baydoun, was not only we were looking at SCADA system as well as backup generators.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, how many pumps do you think we're going to be able to do a year going forward? Do you have any idea?
Well, pump stations, we're hoping that we can do at least 3 or 4, but all depends, you know, how fast these companies move. But I would say at least 3 per year.
Okay. Because we sure are in charge of a lot of pumps, that's for sure. Anybody else? Oh, Commissioner Dopp, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know we addressed this before with the previous contract. I believe we did, and I know it's in our packet, but I feel obligated to just confirm that this is a sole source contract because this is the only manufacturer that can provide the parts for these pumps. Is that correct?
Correct. Good morning, Commissioner Dobb. So yes, that is correct. The type of pump system and parts that we use, it's a Morrison type of pump, and they're the only, you know, source that they carry those parts. So, you know, they're a vendor specialty within. So, and, you know, both them and another company would be Kennedy, that only have their own parts that we need to use to repair and to our pump stations.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure. Anyone else? Okay. All right. Next item, Madam Clerk, sorry.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick.
Okay, this is work from Beach Daily from Warren Road to Joy Road in Dearborn Heights. This is Act 51 money and for engineering services for this road. Any questions on this? Let's see anything. Okay, next item.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Schultz Equipment.
Okay, for various snow plow blades and shoes, and I believe this is one vendor. There's going to be 3 vendors supplying. This is one of the contracts for one of the vendors. Anybody have questions on this? Okay, I don't see any hands. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 5, requesting commission approval, amendment 2 to a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Alfred Benesh and Company.
Okay, this is for the Jefferson Avenue Bridge over the Huron River. This is no change in the dollar amount, but an extension of time. Act 51 monies again. Any questions? Okay, seeing none. Next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of a 2-year construction contract with EC Cornell Co.
Okay, this is for the replacement of the Jefferson Bridge over the Huron River in Brownstown. I do have a question on this. Does anybody else have something before I go? Yes, Commissioner Dodd, go ahead.
Madam Chair, my question might be the same as yours. I just want to, I know it's in our packet, but I just want to get more of an explanation from someone in the administration regarding, you know, the bridge being also in Monroe County and how that all works. You know,
Yeah,
with our
same
part.
question. Someone from the administration? You can answer.
Hi, Madam Chair.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, how are you all?
Good. Thank you for being here.
No problem. I can just take notes and try to answer as best as I can. The Director of Engineering is out of the office today. And so I'll try my best to answer the questions that you have. So the part of, we're replacing the entire bridge. And I just know that the South Bridge approach is in Monroe County, which we've applied for construction permits with them for that portion because we're doing the whole thing, even the approaches. So, and I know that we submitted information to commission staff stating that the bridge is in the jurisdiction of Wayne County. From
Madam
NDOT.
Chair, to that point, does that mean Monroe County not contributing anything to the construction cost?
To my knowledge, they are not.
That's what it sounds like from our analysis. Go ahead, Commissioner Dodd, to you.
Thank you. So the bridge itself is in Wayne County. The only part is that is in Monroe County is the approach
To the bridge, correct.
Okay, all right. Are we doing anything to the approach?
We're doing that portion as well. And I believe that all we needed was to apply for construction permits to have that approach completed as well.
Okay, but because the actual bridge is in Wayne County, it's our jurisdiction.
In responsibility, yes.
Yeah.
But I
okay.
can get further clarification from engineering as to your questions when the director comes back.
Okay, thank you. That's all I
Thank you.
had. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. So it sounds like when Michelle, when you say it's in our jurisdiction, then we'll be taking care of it from here on out after it's completed. And really,
Yes, ma'am.
Monroe County won't be doing anything with it.
No, ma'am.
Does that happen very often where we go into another county with projects?
I don't believe so. I think this is an exception as far as as I know for bridges. I know with other road construction projects, we don't encroach upon other counties that I know of. We have intergovernmental agreements with the municipalities for reimbursements and things like that. But I will double check to see how, if this is a regular occurrence or not.
Oh, that's fine. Commissioner Palomera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my understanding that because this bridge is right on the county line and because a majority of it is in Wayne County, that MDOT requires it just be one project and Wayne County oversee the entire aspect of the project.
That makes sense.
That has been the case in other county line road construction projects, and it's just, this is a rare case where a bridge is right at the county line.
Yeah, that makes sense. Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Michelle, for joining us. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 2-year contract with Ajax Paving Industries.
Okay, this is for various items. Any questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 8, requesting commission approval of Amendment 3 to a 2-year professional services contract with Majesty and Masters.
Okay, this is for in-depth inspections of mechanical and electrical components of the swing span portion of the Groseal Bridge. Any questions on this? Okay, this is for additional hours with this contractor. Okay, next item.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to our intergovernmental agreement with the Township of Sumter.
Okay, this is for installation of wheelchair swings. This is part of the park millage. Any questions on this? It's for Sumter Township. All right, next item. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to be the motion maker for that.
Okay, you know what, Commissioner Hannis, we'll be moving this on to full board, and then we'll grab you on that one for sure.
Okay,
Okay, since we're gonna move the whole agenda one way or the other.
Thank you.
Yep. Just remind me before full board, okay?
Your memory is good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Okay, next item.
Item 10, Requesting commission approval, amendment 2 to a 3-year contract with the 1-year option to renew with Wade Trim Associates.
Okay, this is no change in the amount. And again, this is for Merriman Road over the Tarabusi drain, which will be a huge project. Any questions on this? Okay, next item.
11, requesting commission approval of amendment 1 to a 5-year contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation with no change on the dollar amount to update Appendix G of the contract for state truck line maintenance.
Okay, does anybody have questions on this before I ask? I'm just curious if someone for the administration can give us a explanation with this. Exactly what this means.
Hi, Madam Chair, Michelle again.
Hi, Michelle. Go ahead.
Hi. This is to the trunk line that we submitted last year, the 5-year trunk line from the state of Michigan. They submitted to us that Appendix G, the Appendix G that we approved last year was incorrect or needed to be modified to the Appendix G that we submitted today or to you today. There's no other changes to the contract outside of Appendix G. Trying to pull it
And
up.
what was the Appendix G?
Appendix G, sorry, computer just logged me out of TCO.
Oh.
Sorry,
That's all right.
working from home.
Yeah.
Get you every time. Sorry.
It's okay.
Should have had this pulled up. 213326. Sorry.
You can also let us know too. I don't want you going
Okay.
into a panic here.
I have it in 1 second. Attachments. Stop. Okay. Where's the appendix? Okay, it's the county seasonal workforce cost reimbursement program.
Okay.
So it's the calculations for that. The formula for calculating the department's share of the county's unemployment cost. So it's just a breakdown of the formulas and how we should proceed with submitting our reimbursements for that and how to calculate it for the state, for the monies that we receive.
Okay. So this is just a correction on this.
Yes, just a just a correction in Appendix G to the calculations for seasonal workforce cost reimbursement.
Okay. Any questions on this? All right, I don't see any. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 12, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Wayne Road from Cherry Hill Road to Fort Road in the city of Westland.
Yep, good news for Westland. Questions? Okay, next item.
Item 13, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation for road improvements along Farmington Road from Orange Lawn Street to Plymouth Road in the city of Livonia.
Okay. Questions on this? All right, next item.
Item 14, requesting commission approval of a cooperative agreement with WCI Contractors.
Okay, this is to remove and replace shingle roofs at the Inkster Valley Golf Course. In the pro shop there. And this was through My Deal. This bid was done through My Deal. Questions on this? Okay, is there someone, let's see, from Parks here?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm here. How are
Oh,
you
hi,
today?
Alicia. Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thank you for being here. How long is this project gonna take? Is it gonna be ready for the summer?
Yes, it should be ready. Once we have approval from the commission, then WCI is ready to proceed. Of course, they have to order materials, but they will work around schedule of operation. But we're hoping that once approved, that they can have it completed within, it shouldn't take any longer than 2 to 3 weeks to have this completed. And which our season does not look to open until April. Which is actually the end of this week. Didn't even realize we were there, but really mid-April. So they'll work around the schedule, but it should be completed before we get into the summer months.
Okay, great. Questions on this? Okay, and stay online, Alicia, because I'm gonna have a question for the next item.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go on to the addenda.
Item 15 on the addenda, requesting commission approval of retroactive modification 1 to a 5-year management and operation concession agreement with 2 5-year options to renew with Oneida Golf Services.
Okay. Questions from commissioners? All right, Alicia, could you just explain this? Looks like there's some history to this. It is retroactive, correct?
It is retroactive, 2 reasons, Madam Chair. One is because when we had the sale of Warren Valley Golf Course to Dearborn Heights and the separation of the initial concession agreement, the resolution was recorded as an expiration of 2022. However, in review of the original agreement, the resolution expired in September 30th of 2021. So we had a conflict of resolution. At that point, we had the modification going through initial approval and review, and then there was additional delay with the vendor securing their FEP because of some technical issues and things of that nature. So that's, again, what contributed to some of the retro date of this, this particular concession agreement.
Okay, those are the 2 main ones. Are there
Yes.
any other ones we should know about?
No.
Okay, all right. So questions on this from commissioners? All right, thank you, Director Bradford.
Thank you.
Okay, next item.
Item 16, a resolution by Commissioners Marecki and Palomera calling for the Wayne County Commission to expeditiously review the circumstances contributing to pending Great Lakes Water Authority water and sewer rate increases with an opportunity by the interested parties to be heard and review and consider alternative options to address the proposed rate increases, including possible amendment to the Articles of Incorporation of Great Lakes Water Authority.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. I would just like to make a statement before we delve into this. Commissioner Palomera and I decided to put forth this resolution for your consideration today after it came to light a few weeks ago that 87 communities in Wayne County were sent a letter by the Great Lakes Water Authority asking them to pick up the debt owed by another community's unpaid bills. These letters were sent to the communities at the beginning of March. That is when the Conference of Western Wayne became involved collectively, realizing that their communities were actually paying this debt for some years and didn't even realize it. The CWW was able to obtain information on what each community has paid in the past towards the debt and what they will pay each year going forward. This is what caused an alarm bell for Commissioner Palomera and I to put forth this resolution. Today, we've asked certain parties to join us, whether just to listen in or to make relevant statements. I did reach out to GLWA and spoke with one of their attorneys. They are short-staffed at the moment, and because of the relatively short notice of asking them to join us today, they asked that we invite them back for another meeting so they can present to us. They would like to give us a history of what has happened and why we are here at this point with communities paying off debt they didn't create. I've also asked if Highland Park, Mr. Garrett, will join us today, and I believe he's on. And I've asked the Conference of Western Wayne Executive Director Jordan Selleck to join us since CWW began the investigation into this matter. One thing I'd like to mention, it's not our intention, Commissioner Palomar and my intention, to be a judge and jury about what has taken place in the past between Gliwa and Highland Park. This could be another community who was involved in this situation. It doesn't matter. The events leading up to today have already taken place and continue to have repercussions for Wayne County residents. The intent today is to start the discussion on what to do going forward as a commission, since the Wayne County Commission was part of the MOU and the Articles of Incorporation with the GLWA. In addition, these are our communities that we represent, and we want to do what's best for our citizens in these areas. And Commissioner Palomero, before we start, did you want to add anything in?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And that was a very nice synopsis. The only thing that I would like to add is there is a very enlightened article in the Detroit News today that goes into some depth about the position of both sides and why both sides believe they are right. However, it is my position that if this course of action is taken, that leaves Highland Park harmless, it leaves Great Lakes water harmless, and that those bills are being foisted upon everybody else who should be held harmless because they had nothing to do with this mess, no matter what side you come down on it. So that is why I'm supporting this resolution, because the loser in this should not be all the other ratepayers because of the dispute between Great Lakes Water Authority and the community. So thank you very much, and I fully support this resolution, and I look forward to hearing from the interested parties. Thanks again.
Thank you, Commissioner Palomero. And before we start, I would just like to disclose that I am Jordan Selleck's mom, the executive director of Wayne County, or the Conference of Wayne County, or Conference of Western Wayne. So I would just like to disclose that before we start. Again, if GLWA was here, we would start with them, but why don't we start with the Conference of Western Wayne and any input, Jordan, that you can give us as commissioners on the Public Service Committee.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for inviting us here today. As you stated, we first found out about this on March 2nd. Our community started receiving letters from GLWA saying, hey, we want you to contact the state, ask them to pay this debt that you've been paying for all these years. Each community was given the amount that they have already paid up to this point, and then also what they would pay in 2023 if this was not remedied. So the past debt that has been paid by all other ratepayers is $54 million. In Wayne County, the past debt that has been paid is $19.8 million, which is 36% of the entire debt. However, of that amount, CWW pays 73% of that. So the Western Wayne counties are paying a huge chunk of the entire debt caused by this situation. We're paying 27% of the entire amount. So our total amount that we have paid up to this point is $14.6 million. The other out-county communities have paid $3.9 million, and Detroit has paid $1.4 million. Just as a note, just to for people to understand kind of the disparity in some of the charges, there are water charges, there are sewer charges. Sewer charges are much more expensive. So if you're directly hooked up to GLWA for your sewer charges, you are being charged that sewer debt. Now, if you're hooked up through Rouge Valley or Wayne County Area 3, they're being charged the debt. And my assumption, I have not gotten anything from them, but my assumption is then they are passing that debt onto the community. So if you look at the list of charges, just for instance, the city of Dearborn has already paid $3.6 million. And going forward, they'll be charged $443,000 a year. And that's because they're directly on the sewer service. Other large charges are Canton Township, $330,000 so far. City of Livonia, $380,000. And it goes anywhere from $10,000 with our really small communities all the way up to that 3.6 million for the city of Dearborn. So when this came to light, we reached out to GLWA trying to get as much information as we could. That's how we ended up getting all these numbers. We had a full board meeting scheduled for March 11th. GLWA did request that they be there and present to us. So they did give us a presentation, which I'm happy to share on that PowerPoint with the committee and the commission. If you would like to see it, it just kind of goes through the history of the lawsuits between what was DWSD, GLWA, and the city of Highland Park. GLWA's stance is that this is a rate dispute. It's in court. It's been in court. There's multiple court cases between Highland Park, GLWA, and the state of Michigan, as well as some other Michigan departments. And the way that the board looked at it when we decided to go forth with the resolution that we passed is, if this is something that is still in court, why are we paying it? Generally, if something is going through court or is on appeal, which this is, you're not still being charged for it. So our communities put forth a resolution that asked the state to look at this. We believe this started with the state's decision to force Highland Park onto DWSD and then did not follow up to make sure that repairs were made to the Highland Park water system. And that's how we're here 10 years later with no change. So we think that the state should be reimbursing our communities for the debts that we've already paid. And we are saying we're not going to pay anymore. So we know what we're being charged every month, what every community is. And I'm not going to speak on behalf of every individual community. I can talk to one, and the supervisor from Plymouth Township is on today. He can speak more to it if the committee wants to hear from him. But Plymouth Township, for instance, took a vote by their board of trustees that they will no longer pay any debt towards this, and they are putting that money into an escrow account. So until we find some resolution, that's what we are asking our communities to do. We don't think it's right that anyone's being charged this. And just to reiterate what you said, Madam Chair, this is not about Highland Park. We don't think that their water services should be shut off or anything like that at all. We believe that those residents have been paying their water bills and that they personally were not involved in any of these lawsuits that have gotten us to the situation that we're in right now. So I just want to reiterate, this is not about the Highland Park residents at all. This is a multitude of issues with how this is set up, and we need to be reimbursed for the debt that we've already paid. And there needs to be changes going forward so this cannot happen again. And I'm happy to take any questions if there are some.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the synopsis. And I know you guys have done a ton of work with this. There are a couple questions. Commissioner Baydoun. Commissioner, you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. I would like to know, I'm sorry, I missed that part. Actually, this is troubling that all 43 communities have to pay this debt, which they had nothing to do with. I mean, as a commissioner for the city of Dearborn, I don't think it's fair for our residents to pay $443,000 a year. And did I miss how much did we pay so far? Was it like 3.5 million so far?
Yeah, it's been 3.64 million.
3.64. How long have we been paying that for?
Well, that is one of the questions that we have not been able to get answered quite clearly. In some of GLWA's documents, they refer to 2017 and 2019. But then looking back further, some communities have found that they've been paying this since 2012. And let me clarify too, that the reason that this has not been easily noticed before is because when communities get their water bills monthly, it's just one amount that they have to pay. So there's no debt broken out. This is the first time that GLEWA has come forth and said, hey, you've been paying this. And the reason that they did that is because they wanted us to turn and ask the state to be reimbursed. Up to this moment, no one has ever been told how much they've been paying to this debt or that they have even been paying it.
So are you saying, like, when I get my water bill in Dearborn, I don't see a itemized item that says this is a debt for such and such for GLWA? Are you saying that this debt somehow is being built into the rate that they're charging the cities?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, this was, I'm in the real estate business also. I'm a real estate broker, and we sell a lot of properties, and I get involved with the disputes of water bills. I never knew anything about this. This is shocking to say the least, and I fully support the motion by Chair Marecki and Vice Chair Palomera. I don't think we should be obligated to pay this debt. This is something that we were not responsible for, and neither should the other communities. And this is nothing against the city of Highland Park, but they got to figure out a different way of paying this debt. Why should we pay for it if we had nothing to do with it? Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Kinlock.
For full disclosure, I'm a member of the Detroit Board of Water Commissioners, and as I was trying to bring you in contact with Gary Brown, who's also a member of the GLEWA board. Hopefully, you all will have some additional conversation regarding this. But my question is, so why is GLEWA saying that this was charged in the first place, and by what authority are they charging the communities? And is this unique in any other circumstances? If a lawsuit or a judgment or something is outstanding, would it be distributed? Would the debt liability be distributed with all of the ratepayers? Just wanting to know what GLEWA's response has been in regards to this specific charge that the communities are being dealt with.
So what they say is that the original contracts between the counties and GLWA, when it switched from DWSD, said that the city of Detroit would be responsible solely for the city of Detroit's debt, and the rest of the communities would be solely responsible for the rest of the communities. Now, we have asked for the contracts in between the counties and GLWA. The best that I've been able to track down is the memo of understanding between Wayne County and Oakland County and Macomb and GLWA. And, I'm not an attorney, so I don't want to speak to the specific language, but what I can speak to is I do not believe that there are any individual communities that have specific contracts between the community themselves and GLEWA that state that they will pay the debt if another community does not pay their rate charges.
So they haven't stated what authority that they're, distributing this debt, this specific debt.
They're saying it's the original contract between the counties and GLWA.
Okay. What I have found out is there's a lot of openings to broad interpretations as it relates to, and I've seen the need to bring clarity to some of those original agreements and further interpretations, and so we've found, I'm saying just with my observation. So at this point, it sounds like it's just someone's interpretation at this point.
Yes, I would say that is GLWA's interpretation.
And to that point, before I go to the other commissioners, Felicia or Alan, could either of you address the 2011 order that may give light to this?
Good morning. This is Felicia through the chair. I am
Morning.
going to defer to my colleague, Mr. Helmkamp, to address that question, if that's okay with the chair.
That's fine. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The PowerPoint presentation which GLWA made to CWW, which Ms. Selleck referenced, I had a chance to review that, and conspicuous in that presentation was a reference to a 2011 order. And to Mr. Kinlock's question, it was clear that they were relying for a legal basis in part, maybe even large part, on this order. Ms. Johnson was able to get from GLWA's attorney, Randall Brown, yesterday, a copy of that order. It's was issued by Judge Sean Cox out of the Federal District Court back in 2011. Let's see, specifically the date was August 31, 2011. I'm not going to presume to speak for the water system. I can just tell you, having reviewed the order, it is somewhat complicated and it raises a lot of questions. I think it's probably pertinent and appropriate, rather, that when the water system comes back before us, that they have an opportunity to say why they believe this order gives them the authority. I would just tell you, as an attorney reading this, I have a number of questions, including it predates by 3 years the creation of GLWA. It refers to a number of items and agreements and previous orders being terminated, and et cetera. So I guess my bottom line is, as I read this order, I cannot clearly tell you from my reading why it would provide the basis for them to write off this bad debt and spread it against all customers. So I think we'll have to defer that for another day.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Helmkamp. I also have Commissioner Hattis and Commissioner
Madam
Dahl.
Chair, before you go there, may I
Yes,
just add to that? That so the commission did approve the articles of incorporation and a memorandum of understanding to create the GLWA. I'm not aware, I have not fully reviewed that since that time, so I'll have to go back and relook at it, and perhaps that can answer some of the questions regarding the debt piece. But that was just for the creation of the entity. Those member communities were not a part of that. It was just the county and the city of Detroit that were a part of that particular agreement. I'm not aware of any other agreement that the county has entered into with GWLA, though we can check our commission records to determine if any other approvals occurred since the creation of the memorandum, and that also may provide more additional information that could be useful in this discussion in the future.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Madam Chair, quickly to Felicia. Felicia, well, let me just ask you, was this something that they can say that was a previous practice or a standing practice, that's how they dealt with the debt? Any type of debt from other communities, they spread it across. I'm saying, was this part of how they dealt with debt when it was just DWSD? I'm just asking.
I cannot speak to the practices of the DWSD or even the current practices of the water system. I can only say that we can look at the agreements that the county has entered into. Okay. And then, speak to whether those speak to debt. But I think it's important to note that those member communities are not a part of that agreement. So we can go back and we can look at, what we've done as a county, as a commission, and then, advise you to that point. But as far as their past practices, I cannot speak to those. And I can't tell you that just because it was a past practice, if you create a new system, that practice is still valid. So we would really have to hear from the water system as to their rationale and basis for why they've determined that the debt can be spread in the manner that it's been spread.
Ooh. If I can layer on just to that point, there is various attachments to the 2011 order, and there's a reference to a 1995 settlement agreement, one of a long list of previous agreements and what have you, that reference as far back as 1995 5, a bad debt allocation and adjustment language. So again, that may be something that the system will speak to. But Commissioner Kinlock, there is some reference as far back as 1995.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you both for that. Commissioner Hadis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, there are too many questions. Probably we need to hear from the authority and why they use a power to collect money without sending notice to anybody. Some of the community pay, they didn't know what they pay them for. And my main question is, I know Supervisor Heisey, he started to put the money in escrow. Why not all the communities in Wayne County follow the same practice?
I think that's what I think that's what CWW is suggesting, that everyone does that.
Can't we do it all together or in one escrow account?
Ms. Selleck, do you have?
I can't speak to that, but I do know, I would think that each community would have to pass that on their own through their council and their board. So that's what we're just asking them to do right now. I suppose if everyone does go forth and passes not paying any further debt and put in an escrow, then we could talk further about one big escrow account.
Okay, my other question you mentioned a little bit earlier is the only way we find out about it when they let us know to be able to collect money from the state.
Yes, they let us know how much we have paid, so then we could send a letter to the state asking the state to reimburse us.
Oh, asking, but it's not guaranteed we get some money.
No, and you know, the state has ignored this since 2012. I mean, they put this in motion and then they have ignored it since. In 2016, Governor Snyder I did some research just in the background, and Governor Snyder had some remarks that at one of the Mackinac policy conferences, they were going to figure this out and have a solution, and then nothing ever came of it. We have sent this resolution to the state, as well as many of our communities have sent their individual letters. And as far as I know, no one has received response yet.
Okay. In my opinion is the authority create this problem, and we have to be careful what kind of precedent we set to the future. That would really open the door for too many problems, in my opinion. Thank you, Madam the Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Most of my questions have already been asked by other commissioners, but I guess to follow up on the previous question and discussion. So if we don't get any response from the state and they don't just help us out, is there any legal recourse that the communities can take to maybe together?
We at our board meeting, we put together a subcommittee to look into that matter. And that is what they're looking into right now, or what are the next steps? Because I mean, frankly, even if the state does reimburse us the $54 million that everyone has already paid, this is a problem going forward. Mm-hmm. And let's also, I mean, if GLWA ends up winning this appeal and lawsuit, that's still $54 million Highland Park would need to come up with to make us whole. And I don't think that anyone thinks that that is realistic. So this is, again, this originated with the state. They have to take some responsibility with that. And that is why we are pushing them to look at this. But obviously, legal recourse may be the only way to force it. We don't know. So that's why they are looking at it further.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Madam Chair.
And I'd just like to note, when you read the resolution coming from the commission, this will be sent to the state as well. If the if the full commission approves this in a couple weeks at our full board. Anybody else before we move on to the city of Highland Park and to see if they want to make a statement? Jordan, is there anything you want to say before we go to Highland Park?
I don't. Supervisor Heisey, did you want to add anything? Supervisor Heisey is chairing our subcommittee to look into this matter. So I just want to see if he wants, if I missed anything.
No, I think that was very comprehensive. And I guess my request to Commissioner Marecki is, I haven't read the resolution yet, but if you could also make sure that Oakland and Macomb receive that as well.
They are.
As well as City of Detroit, because the city is treated differently under all the GLEWA bylaws and articles of incorporation. And it appears that we're all paying some share of this this debt.
Yes, and they are included to be sent the resolution as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Supervisor.
Hello, Supervisor.
Oh, go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
No, I was saying hello to him.
Hi there.
Yeah.
Oh, you're saying hi? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Jordan, for your presentation. Now, is Mr. Garrett on from Highland Park, or someone, or Andrew Richmond, that would like to make a statement or give any information?
Good morning, Commissioner Marecki and other Wayne County Commissioners. So Damon Garrett is on. I am the director of the Highland Park Water Department. So I have, I'd like to read a resolution, and I have some other documents that I'd like to share with a lot of people on the call. There's been several questions and things that I can speak to as far as, contracts and documents. There's been a lot of things in the paper said about Highland Park, about owing all of this money and money being placed in other places. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are just the overcharges that we believe have been levied against Highland Park and are now being construed as debt that other people are needing to pay. So the first thing I'd like to talk about or share is a resolution that the city passed last Monday. I'm going to read that really quickly if you allow me to share my screen.
Mr. Garrett, you know what? You sent me this, which I will send on to the committee members and to the whole commission. If you want to just,
I can read it.
Yeah, why don't you just read it? But I do have the email you just sent, and I will send that on to all commissioners.
Is it possible to share it on the screen?
Is it possible, Madam Clerk?
Yeah, I can see. I have.
Yes, he can share it.
He can. Okay, go ahead then. Go ahead.
Are you able to see that?
Not yet, but yep, here we go.
Okay. So let me minimize that. So this is a resolution that was passed by the city council. I think Jordan was speaking to asking the state to step in. So this resolution was passed asking for the state to step in and provide oversight over GLWA. And I'll read you what the commission passed, the council passed. It's a resolution from the Highland Park City Council requesting the Honorable Governor Gretchen Whitmer of the state of Michigan requires state regulation and oversight, including but not limited to rate review and rate justification over the Great Lakes Water Authority and all authorities producing contracts with cities, villages, and townships are adhered to, and the rate established is fair, equitable, and consistent for all involved entities. So Highland Park certainly shares some of the sentiment and concerns that were shared in the discussion earlier. And, there is no oversight over GLWA. And so the city council is asking that the state step in and provide some oversight over this utility, something similar to what is the oversight over the electric utilities and consumers in DTE. So I wanted to share that. I also wanted to share some things that I think Jordan was talking about. And this this document here is what leases GLWA assumed when they were established, and it has a list of all communities here and the date of their agreements. You can see, you know, Inkster 1986, Madison Heights 2009, so on and so forth. City of Plymouth, Plymouth Township 2019, 5/19/2009. But I want to point out down here at the bottom, it says no contract, City of Highland Park. Okay, so this next document is a document that shows that the City of Highland Park actually has a contract, which was established in 1983, which is the contract that we are adhering to. And without getting into all of the legalese, in 1983, this contract was established. There was a consent order that was issued in 1996, which was the financial vehicle behind payment that's listed in this contract. And in that 1996 agreement, it established rates. And the water rate that was established in 1996 was $12.05 per KCF, and the wastewater rate was $22.66 per KCF. The reason why I'm bringing that up is, you know, there's this notion that Highland Park hasn't paid, we generated all this debt. These are existing contracts that are still in place, and there's vehicles within these contracts that talk about amending these contracts, whether it be rate increases or what have you. The other thing I wanted to point out, Jordan talked about 2012. The City of Highland Park's water plant was shut down in 2012. Highland Park also has an emergency contract that was established in 1950 that has an annual water rate set for that. And Highland Park's plant is still shut down and has been since 2012. So there are the 1983 agreement, the three contracts that Highland Park has with GLWA is 1983, 1996, and the 1950. Those all speak to amendments, rates, and Highland Park is paid. So one more thing I want to show you that kind of speaks to some of the overpayment is I talked to you about this 1996 agreement and the 83. Well, the established rate was $22.60 per KCF. So since 2016, this is what Highland Park should have been charged, $4.5 million. In this column over here to the right, you'll see what Highland Park has paid. This is what has been paid to GWA. $18 million has been paid since 2016 to GLWA, which is in excess of the contract amounts that were established by 13 million. Another thing that people may not know is in February of 2021, in Wayne County Circuit Court, they ruled that Highland Park has been overcharged $34 million. And there was a judgment there that was passed, which I have here, and all these documents I will share with everybody here. We're fully transparent on what's going on, but it was ruled in Wayne County last year that Highland Park was overcharged $34 million. And in this document, you can see, which is the order, it says that Highland Park made payments from 2004 to 2015 in the amount of $29 million. So I just wanted everybody to know that this notion that Highland Park is not paid, that Highland Park has paid and Highland Park has been overcharged. So I just wanted, in all of this discussion that's going on, I know there's talk about resolution. So just so people know, Highland Park has taken on this escrow approach as well and continues to pay per the contract amounts, but have been escrowing anything above and beyond that. So we have done that. We have been overcharged. So we feel the same way. The only difference is that our overcharge is being shared with everyone else, is that we're creating debt for them, but we're being overcharged. So that's our position on what's going on, Commissioner.
Mr. Garrett, thank you. Now, in your documents, is the 2021 order in here?
Yes, it is.
Well,
It is.
okay.
This is here. This is I'll take you to the beginning. So this is the court order here.
Okay.
And like I said, I can email this to people who want a copy. You know, we're fully transparent with these documents.
Yes, please email it to me. I'll make sure you have my email, and then I'll disperse it to everybody,
Okay.
to all commissioners, and especially this committee right now. Okay, thank you. Any questions from commissioners to Mr. Garrett? Okay, I don't see any.
Well, you know.
Oh, yes, I
Madam
do.
Chair-
Commissioner.
Yeah,
Oh.
Madam Chair, thank you, for this very informative presentation. Well, I hope I didn't insinuate that we're putting the blame on Highland Park, but it seems like Highland Park is much of a victim as the rest of the communities in Wayne County, and we need to really get to the bottom of this. This is unacceptable, and I don't know what's going to happen if the state is not going to help. So are we stuck with this? That's my question. I don't know who can answer that.
Well, yeah, and I think this is why everybody's getting together with this. But Mr. Garrett, I have another question for you before we go to commissioners. Are you still connected to the GLWA in an emergency type fashion?
Yes, we are and have been since 2012 when our water plant was shut down.
Okay, so it's still considered an emergency fashion.
Correct.
Okay. And so GLWA is claiming that you haven't made a payment since April 2021 as well?
I'm not sure about the allegation, but we have stopped overpaying per our current contracts. And so that might be what that is referring to. So we are escrowing because we believe that we're in an overcharged position. So we are invoicing, we're telling them monthly that the payments should go against what we've overpaid, 13 million that we've overpaid.
Okay, Commissioner Job.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My question actually is for Jordan Selleck. I was just kind of going back through stuff and had another question for her, if you don't mind. Jordan, so I was looking at the list of the amounts that the communities have already paid. Why, do you have any idea why Dearborn is so high compared to everyone else? I mean, 3 million? And I'm looking at like populations compared to Canton and Livonia have similar populations, and they were only charged, well, only about 300.
So it's because of the sewer service. So Dearborn's hooked up directly to GLWA's sewer service, where most of our other communities are hooked up through Rouge Valley. So Rouge Valley's been charged about 9 million of the debt. And then I'm sure that that's been passed on to the Rouge Valley customers. But we only have 2 communities directly attached to GLWA for sewer service, and that's Dearborn and Redford.
Okay. Yeah.
And sewer service is much more expensive than water.
Okay. Thank you.
That explains it.
Commissioner Palmera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a very complex problem. And I am not saying with absolute certainty that any of the entities, be it the state of Michigan, the city of Highland Park, or GLWA, are absolutely right or wrong. But I will say this. It is wrong for GLWA to take the path that they have taken to foist that debt onto the other communities, to not tell them about it, and then to continue to attempt to collect it from other ratepayers. And the commission needs to try to get that right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And Supervisor Heisey is on. Go ahead, Supervisor Heisey. I see you want to make a comment. Or
I would reiterate everything that Commissioner Palmera just said. Our dispute, the Conference of Western Wayne, at least, and I think I can speak for the other downriver communities as well. Our dispute is not with the people of Highland Park or even the city of Highland Park. I actually congratulate the city. You've been winning in court. And unfortunately, GLWA has passed along the judgment to the communities. This is a legal dispute. And I think we're going to try to resolve it without going to court, but I think we need some higher intervention, whether that's a federal judge or maybe the GLEWA board itself to intervene here and provide us with direction or clarification on the very numerous documents that exist. We have contracts, MOUs, and court orders all intermeshed. Plus we have statements that have been made by previous elected officials, and whether or not we're bound by any of that is another question. We had a lot of unanswered questions, but rest assured that as far as we're concerned, the people of Highland Park deserve good, clean, safe water, and that's one of our overriding goals here is to make sure that that everybody is protected here at the end of the day. I don't like having to pay for another community's or entity's judgment in court, and that's really what's happened here. Typically, when you're sued, as you know, you either if you're appealing, you're either going to put that money into escrow or you're going to bond for it in some fashion. Municipal governments and public bodies have different rules applying to them in those cases. But you don't start paying that judgment off and just bill your customers. So we have a lot of again, a lot of unanswered questions. The Conference of Western Wayne is going to meet in April, on April, Jordan, I think it's April 9th or something like that.
April 8th.
April 8th. So we'll be meeting in Northville Township that day. And this committee that we formed will come up with some recommendations to the full Conference of Western Wayne. And these will be both policy, procedural, and legal as well. So stay tuned.
Great. That's in Northville, you said, right? The next meeting?
Northville Township.
Northville Township. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else?
Yes, Madam the Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
After I listened to Mr. Garrett from Highland Park, something came to my mind. Is we focusing on the payment and the money, but something new I start thinking about is maybe the function, the CLOA, it's bad function. We need to overlook because there's so many, in my opinion, so many non-answered questions, and they're not here today on such important issue to answer some of those questions. I feel like the authority, it's not functioning in a professional way, charging people in community without letting them know. There's so many things. And then after I listened to Highland Park and they went in the court, maybe we should look into, beside the money, we will look into that at the county. Then we should look in the function of the CLOA. My opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, this has definitely started major conversations with all parties involved, from letters being sent out a couple weeks ago. So, okay.
Things that make sense.
Yeah. Thank you for everyone that was on here to participating and explaining what's going on. This is a really complicated issue, especially when you start going back, 50 years. So I really appreciate the time of everybody who was here. If there are no other comments or questions, I'd entertain a motion to move the entire agenda
Madam
to.
Chair, I'll move the entire agenda for recommendation to full board.
Support.
Okay. Thank you. All right. We have an approval to move the agenda to full board by Commissioner Dobbs, supported by Commissioner Baydoun. Any other comments or questions before we vote on this? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinlock, Commissioner Kinlock, Come back to his. Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Chair Mareki,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinlock. He's still on, but he looks to be muted.
Okay.
Did that include the addenda items as well?
Yes, it did.
Thank
Right,
you.
Commissioner Dobb?
Yes.
Yes.
Entire report, including
Yes.
agenda.
And that's moving forward with a favorable. Favorable,
Recommendation.
yes. Commissioner Kinlock.
He's on still, but he's muted.
Okay. All right, I guess motion passes. Okay, so we're going to move the agenda and the addenda items onto the full board. Okay, thank you everyone for being part of this discussion. Next item, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Okay, I have heard none and I have none. Next item.
Public comments.
Okay, as I noted before, we did receive an email with the resolution from Highland Park as the meeting was going on. And this, I will send all that information to each of you that I received from Highland Park and also from the CWW, the presentation from the GLWA. So you will all receive that. Any other emails, Madam Clerk?
No other emails.
Okay, could you unmute everyone?
Lines are unmuted, and it looks like Commissioner Kinlock is trying to rejoin the meeting.
Okay. Anyone from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services?
I'm sorry,
Either
my phone was out.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Felicia or Madam Clerk, what do we, Commissioner Kinlock is joining. Would you like to vote on the agenda, Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay,
So
I'm not sure how to do this.
You'll need a motion to reconsider, and then once that passes, just do the vote over.
Okay, do we have a motion to reconsider?
Move to reconsider.
Nope, you can't do.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Okay.
Move to
You need someone
reconsider.
else.
Okay,
Move to
do we have okay, do we have a support?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion to reconsider by Commissioner Vargas, supported by Commissioner Baydoun. All those in favor to reconsider, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll again, moving the entire agenda to
Yes,
the full
let me get them.
board?
Can we get another motion just to reconsider all items for recommendation positive approval to full board, please?
Commissioner Dobb.
I'll move all the items, including the agenda for recommendation to full board.
Support.
Okay, we have an approval and support. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomero,
Yes.
Commissioner Kinlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Dobb,
Yes.
Mareki.
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Next item, we're on public comments. And so everybody's still unmuted, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay, anyone from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services, either on the phone or on Zoom? Anyone from the public? Okay, hearing none, seeing no hands raised. Next item.
Adjournment.
Okay,
So move.
All right. All right, we have an approval and a support to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are now adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good job.
Oh,
And thank you, Zoom. It's been nice meeting with you and
Oh,
knowing
yeah,
you.
our last Zoom.
Dunzo.
Okay, see you in person.
Bye.
Bye.